Tell me if this sounds familiar. You've been working non-stop since 8 in the morning, it's now 6 p.m, and you're exhausted. Your inbox is empty, you've attended 5 meetings, answered dozens of urgent requests, and cleared your to-do list. And yet you can't help thinking, but what did I actually accomplish? Despite your best intentions and hard work, somehow the truly important strategic priorities got pushed aside. Again. In the first video of this 2-part series, we looked at the 4 traps that derail productivity: urgency, convenience, comfort zone, and responsiveness. We saw how they masquerade as important work while quietly drawing attention away from our actual responsibilities. In this second and final part, we're taking the next crucial step. I'll show you how to break this cycle, and I'll share with you a practical strategy to refocus on what actually drives results and makes a real impact. All of what we've discussed so far manifests as an individual's behaviors or work habits. But the solution doesn't have to lie solely with the individual. I'm not saying you should kick the problem up the totem pole. You should take personal responsibility for being more effective by adjusting your own behavior. However, as an executive or a manager, you also have an organizational responsibility to address these challenges systematically. The greatest impact comes when you tackle false priorities at both levels. You know that organizational structures and expectations reinforce behavior, and therefore you must realize that it works both ways. They can either reinforce those false priorities or help eliminate them. So to create lasting change, we need to educate through proper communication and also shift our entire organizational approach to how we define, measure, and reward meaningful work. The most successful professionals I know distinguish themselves not by what they do, but what they choose not to do. They carefully avoid false priorities to focus on generating value creation, because they recognize the difference between task completion and value creation. Task completion is finishing items on a to-do list, which is often driven by urgency. But value creation is generating outcomes that advance strategic goals. They're not even remotely the same thing, yet most organizations reward the first while hoping for the second. Consider 2 teams in the same company. One completes 20 tasks daily and moves quickly through a variety of urgent requests. The other completes just 3 strategic tasks over 1 week, but doubles customer satisfaction and improves a critical process. Which of the 2 teams creates more value? The answer seems obvious, and yet company cultures often reward the first team because they appear busy and responsive to immediate demands. Leaders need to intentionally redirect this focus. The core business principle of every organization should be to focus on executing its priorities. As a leader, whether you're a team lead or a manager or a director or an executive, you have the opportunity and responsibility to create systems that help everyone in your organization focus purely on creating value. Because the mathematics of attention is unforgiving. Dividing focus across 10 different things, activities, projects, initiatives, or whatever, that doesn't give each one of them 10% of your attention. It makes effective progress on any one of them nearly impossible. And there's no such thing as true equitable multitasking. There's the illusion of it, but that's all. A concentrated effort on fewer high-impact strategic priorities yields much better results than spreading attention across many tasks. So focusing on just 1, 2, or maybe 3 true priorities makes you significantly more likely to achieve those objectives. This focused approach creates a competitive advantage over those organizations who respond to every demand, who chase every opportunity and react to every market change. The strategically focused organization moves steadily towards its core objectives. Your decisions about what to prioritize shape your professional identity and your organization's position in the market. Every time you say yes to a false priority, whether that's personally or as a team, you're saying no to something potentially more important. And these choices define your personal reputation, both as a direct result of your own behavior and by extension the collective behavior of your team. You can be known for being busy or for making a real impact. Setting boundaries around priorities is an important function of leadership, not just personal time management. When you protect time for high-value work and create systems that reinforce this behavior, you improve not just your own effectiveness, but that of your entire organization. As a leader, you have the power to transform from an activity focus to an impact focus. Imagine a workplace where creating value, not completing tasks, is the measure of success, where professionals aren't praised for being constantly busy, but for delivering meaningful outcomes. Where saying no to low-value activities is seen as good strategic judgment, rather than a lack of commitment. And it's very easy to create this environment throughout your organization, whether that's a whole company, a division, or even a small team of 3 people. First, move from activity-based measurements to outcome-based evaluations, which means problem solved and value creation instead of tasks completed and hours worked. And make sure you also model that priority through your own behavior. You demonstrate what matters by where you personally spend your time and attention. Explicitly give your team permission to say no to low-value work, and then back them up when they do. And a good way to help them prioritize is to regularly review and prune your organization's projects and commitments to maintain focus on what matters most. This change in focus from activities to outcomes is what will create lasting success. It prevents burnout by focusing energy, and it improves employee retention by connecting daily work to meaningful achievements. So here's how you're going to implement all of this. Start by modifying your own behavior. Stop being misled by urgency and by what's easy and learn to say no. Then begin delegating lesser tasks relative to your priorities to your directs. These then become their priorities. And get into the habit of setting aside uninterrupted time in your calendar for your most important work. And protect it. Then focus on your team. Review the activities of your direct reports and examine where their time and resources are going. Identify which activities are truly important and which are false priorities. Then communicate all of this and make sure you start rewarding value creation over task completion. Once you put all of this in motion and your directs get used to the new standard, empower them to do the same with their own directs, all the way down the hierarchy. When you are deliberate about what you focus on and guide your organization accordingly, you achieve significantly better results and improve your effectiveness by orders of magnitude. And if you want more actionable advice for balancing personal growth with business success, click on the playlist link in the description below and consider subscribing to this channel. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.